everyone, it's Emily and I'm back again with another monthly pickup video. So I feel like I spoiled a lot of the games that I picked up this past month through various different forms, but I think the biggest things that I spoiled were these PS4 games. I picked those up during the Video Games Plus Atlas and Sega sale that I think is continuing until the end of this weekend. But despite all the spoilers, there are a few titles, mainly Switch titles and a Vita title, that I withheld this month that I'll share now. So I'm going to start off with the Vita title, and this is one that I've been wanting for a while, and it's one of the more expensive ones, but I managed to find a decent deal on eBay for it, and it is Miramasa Rebirth. So this is an action side-scroller with beat-em-up mechanics, and I just love the art style. I feel like Vanillaware can never go wrong when it comes to that department, and they also make really good games to back up their art direction. And I have a lot of fondness for Japanese mythology, so you have that wrapped in this sort of fantasy type setting. Now I just need Odin Sphere, which I've been still going back and forth if I want to get it on the Vita or the PS4. They're both going to be expensive at this point. I think the ones on the Vita are a bit more pricey, and I do really love my handhelds, but I might have to go with PS4 if I can find a decent price for it. And I think that's the last Vanillaware title that's on my list currently, though they have teased bringing back one of their PS2 titles onto modern systems. So I'm really excited about that one as well. Now on to Switch games. So towards the beginning of the month, I finally received all the games that I bought in the buy two get one free deal over on Amazon. And one of the titles that I really wanted to get that is a new release for this year is Triangle Strategy. So this is Square Enix's new strategy RPG, and I've been really excited for it because it does utilize the art direction that they did with Octopath Traveler, which is just really beautiful modern pixel art. And from what I've heard, this relies really heavily on the decisions you make when choosing which route you'll go on. So I'm really intrigued by the story to see how it lands with me. I've heard an overwhelmingly positive response, but there are a few people that I do trust on YouTube that also mentioned they felt a little disappointed. So I'm trying not to go into this super hyped because I also don't want to be disappointed. I feel like I always kind of set myself up for that whenever I go in too excited for certain titles. But nevertheless, I'm hoping to finish this by the end of the year so that I could have a few of the new releases under my belt and kind of talk about what my favorite releases for 2022 are. So I usually try to maximize the buy two get one free deal by just pairing together similar valued games just to maximize the discount. So Triangle Strategy here I think was around $50 before the discount, and unfortunately I couldn't find any other games that had a similar price, so I just went with two other games that have been on my wish list that I would pick up regardless. One of them being another new release for this year, Eastward. So there was a lot of buzz for this particular title upon its digital release, and I believe that was also around the same time they had a physical release in Japan. But I had waited for the North American release through I'm 8-Bit, so I'm glad I did and was able to pick it up for a little bit of a discount through that sale. But the reason why I wanted to pick this up is, one, it's just has really beautiful pixel art. It's very detailed, and you could tell that the developer spent a lot of time on that aspect of it. And I also heard that the gameplay is pretty fun because it does mimic a lot of the traditional top-down Zelda-like games. And you also have an interesting take on a dystopian sort of setting. So I just thought this was a really interesting title, and I heard pretty positive things about it. So I'm excited to finally get around to it soon. And then the last Switch game that I picked up for the buy two get one free deal was Ty the Tasmanian Tiger. And so this includes both the first game and the second game on one cart. And it also comes with this USB thing. So I'm gonna open it actually to see what it looks like. Oh wow, so this is much bigger than I was expecting, but I have this really big boomerang, and so it's supposed to be a USB, and I believe it includes, let's see what it says here. So I guess I'll quote, it's supposed to have a huge digital bounty of goodies in the collector's USB boomerang. And then actually, correction, you don't have both games on the single cart. It's just the first game is on the cart, and then you have a digital download for the second game. It's a little bit of a bummer, but I guess it's better than not including it, because I think they initially released the first game just by itself on the Switch maybe last year or sometime. So it's nice that they now have both. When I was flipping through the PS2 collection that my brother and I shared as kids, I did notice that we did have the first game, and I don't believe I ever played that one. So I'm wondering if my brother maybe picked that up after I left for college or something. But anyway, I do have a ton of nostalgia when it comes to 3D platformers that were on the PS2 that I feel like I've shared multiple times on this channel. And I heard fairly positive reviews about this particular port, so I thought, why not pull the trigger and try this Mascot 3D action platformer game. So the next one is a game that I picked up from the Premium Edition Games Second Chance sale, and that is Cathedral here. And I felt like this was fairly quick turnaround for a second chance sale, so I'm not sure if this was just stock they already had or if they went ahead and reprinted some of their games. And there are a lot of Shovel Knight comparisons to this game, mostly because of the pixel art and the character design, but I did hear this game does stand up on its own. I really enjoyed the packaging for Phoenotopia Awakening that I initially bought through Premium Edition Games. And I'm really glad that I picked up another one of their games because this edition is also really stunning. And then this last game I actually spoiled on Instagram. So I guess now is the time to plug in my social media accounts. I feel like I'm more active on Twitter, mostly with all my dumb commentary when it comes to gaming news or new releases, or just clowning my poor financial decisions. So if that interests any of you, you can follow me on there. And then Instagram is fairly new for me. I've been trying to figure out what I want to do with that account. So far, I've just been posting photos of my collection and sort of doing a blog-like format. So the game that I spoiled on Instagram was Pokemon Legends Arceus. So I bought this through Gamefly that had it discounted to $35 with free shipping for a open copy, but it's basically like new and just without the shrink wrap. And I couldn't help myself and I started playing this game a little bit. So my next video that I'm planning to work on sometime this weekend, I'll share some more details about my first impressions of this game. But not to spoil again too much, but so far I am enjoying it, but there are some elements that I could see them maybe improve upon in the future. And then the last game I'll share today was featured in my last video's thumbnail, but I didn't really talk about this game other than that I finally have it in my collection, and that is Kirby Planet Robobot for the 3DS. These last few months I've spent a lot of time trying to hunt down a North American standard edition, mostly because I know this edition is not super rare, and also if I did eventually get priced out, I knew I could fall back on the UAB or the World Edition, since those are more available at this time for retail. But I feel like Kirby Planet Robobot is one of those games that everyone just brings up as being the best Kirby game, if not one of the best games on the 3DS system. So I've only really dabbled with Kirby Triple Deluxe that I picked up a couple months ago. So I'm really excited to finally have Planet Robobot in my collection and sort of see why this is such a highly regarded game on the system. So those were all of my July pickups. And again, I think we have 10 games if we include the games that I did spoil throughout the month. So this nice big stack here. I have a feeling that August might be a lighter month because I'm going to be pretty preoccupied with Xenoblade Chronicles 3 whenever Nintendo decides to ship my copy out to me. I am most likely going to focus more on the 3DS, but we'll see if I'll be able to grab any of those games that I mentioned in my last video that are on my wish list before they start to just increase in price. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this pickup video, and let me know down below if you also picked up any new games this month. And also, how bad is your backlog screaming at you, because I know mine is yelling quite loudly at me. Until my next video, bye guys.